Welcome to Expat American, a glistening facade. Friends, gather round because tonight, we're diving headfirst into the murky world of YouTube charlatans, specifically one Joseph Rose and his channel, Expat American. Now Joseph, sporting a charming smile and a carefully curated backstory, paints a rosy picture of life in Russia. He boasts about the low cost of living, the friendly locals, and a culture steeped in tradition. Imagine, if you will, a folksy American grandpa figure, inviting you to trade your hectic life for a simpler existence. He's like the friendly face on a tourist trap pamphlet, promising a world of wonder and excitement. But just like those tourist traps, what awaits is often far less idyllic. Joseph's videos are meticulously crafted. He dines on hearty Russian cuisine, explores picturesque villages, and engages with seemingly happy locals. It's all very convincing, very wholesome, very orchestrated, because as we'll soon uncover, Joseph Rose isn't just a happy-go-lucky American retiree sharing his love for Russia. Oh no, my friends, there's something far more insidious lurking beneath the surface. And just like that borscht he's always slurping down, things are about to get very, very sour. Behind the smiles, the shadowy network emerges. Let's peel back the layers of this onion, shall we? Joseph Rose didn't just stumble onto YouTube stardom. He's part of a larger, well-oiled machine, and at the heart of this machine lies a familiar foe, Russian propaganda. You see, Joseph's idyllic portrayal of Russia conveniently aligns with the Kremlin's narrative. He downplays the country's problems, glosses over its authoritarian regime, and paints a picture of a nation misunderstood by the West. This, my friends, is not a coincidence. Remember, propaganda isn't always about blatant lies. It's about manipulating information, highlighting certain aspects while ignoring others. It's about crafting a narrative that serves a specific agenda. And in this case, Joseph Rose is a pawn in a much larger game. He's a useful idiot, peddling Kremlin-approved content to an unsuspecting audience. But Joseph isn't working alone. Oh no, he's got a supporting cast, each with their own murky connections and questionable motives. Strings attached. From Moscow with love and lies. Let's talk about Svetlana, shall we? Joseph's wife, his ever-present sidekick in his expat American adventures. She's always there, nodding along, translating conversations, and reinforcing the image of a happy cross-cultural couple. But Svetlana, my friends, is more than just a devoted wife. She's the link, the bridge between Joseph and the powers that be in Moscow. Her connections to pro-Kremlin organizations are well documented, and her role in Joseph's operation is anything but coincidental. But wait, there's more. Enter Maria Butina, the convicted Russian agent who famously infiltrated conservative circles in the United States. Butina's fingerprints are all over this operation. Her ties to Joseph and Svetlana are undeniable, and her expertise in influencing Westerners is evident in the carefully crafted narrative of Expat American. These connections, my friends, are not mere speculation. They are documented, verifiable, and deeply concerning, and it doesn't stop there. The web of deceit extends further, ensnaring other key players like Dmitry Kuznetsov and Stanislav Filin. These individuals, with their ties to Russian intelligence and propaganda efforts, play a crucial role in disseminating Joseph's message and amplifying its reach. Section 4. Under the guise of tradition, exploiting faith and family. Now let's talk about the bait. Because every good scam needs a hook, something to lure in unsuspecting victims. And Joseph Rose has found his traditional values and religion. You see, Joseph knows his audience. He targets Westerners disillusioned with modern life, yearning for a simpler, more authentic existence. He taps into their anxieties about declining morality, the breakdown of the family, and the erosion of traditional values. And what better place to find these values, he suggests, than in Russia? He showcases Russia as a bastion of faith and family, a place where traditional gender roles are celebrated and religion is deeply intertwined with everyday life. He paints a picture of a society untouched by the ills of Western liberalism, a place where life is slower, simpler, and more meaningful. He preys on the vulnerabilities of those seeking a sense of belonging, a return to traditional values, a community that shares their beliefs. It's a seductive message, particularly for those feeling lost or alienated in their own societies, and it's a message that Joseph and his handlers exploit with ruthless efficiency. Section 5. Broken dreams, victims of the Russian mirage. But the reality, as always, is far less glamorous than the fantasy Joseph peddles. Because for every smiling face and glowing testimonial on Expat American, There are countless untold stories of heartbreak, disillusionment, and financial ruin. These are the stories Joseph doesn't want you to hear, the stories of those who bought into his lies and paid the price. We've spoken to these victims, my friends, people who sold their homes, packed their bags, and moved to Russia based on Joseph's promises. They came seeking a simpler life, a stronger sense of community, a return to traditional values. What they found instead was a bureaucratic nightmare, a culture clash they were ill-prepared for, and a financial reality far harsher than anything Joseph had portrayed. They found themselves isolated, exploited, and abandoned by the very person who had lured them to Russia in the first place. Their stories are a stark reminder that behind the carefully curated facade of expat American lies a dark underbelly of deceit, manipulation, and broken dreams. Section 6. A call to action unmasking the American dream peddlers. So, what can we do, you ask? How do we fight back against this insidious form of propaganda? First, we educate ourselves. We recognize that what we see on Expat American is not an accurate portrayal of life in Russia. We understand that Joseph Rose is not a neutral observer, but a cog in a larger propaganda machine. We acknowledge that his motives are suspect, his connections are alarming, and his message is carefully crafted to serve a specific agenda. Second, we spread the word. We share this information with our friends, family, and social networks. We expose Joseph Rose and his ilk for what they are: charlatans, propagandists, and exploiters of vulnerability. We refuse to let them peddle their lies unchallenged. We amplify the voices of their victims, those whose lives have been upended by their deceit. We remind ourselves that critical thinking, media literacy, and a healthy dose of skepticism are our best defenses against those who seek to manipulate us. Don't be fooled by the smiling faces, the folksy charm, and the promises of a simpler life. Because behind the facade of expat American lies a dark truth, and it's time we shed light on it.